Chapter 156, Digital Shade Recipe, Flower Wine Mystery. Lord Fang Yuan. This way towards the secret room, please enter. In the dark, eerie tunnel, a rank 2 old goo master walked in front, leading the way for Fang Yuan. The secret room that held all the goo worm combination recipes of the clan was not far ahead. Fang Yuan advanced to rank 3, thus his status had a 180-degree change. All the fusion recipes kept in the clan. As long as they were not rank 4 or 5 recipes, he had the authority to look through. If it was a rank 1 or 2 goo master, to look through the recipes, they would need to pay primeval stones or exchange using merit points. This secret room was in the basement of the village, at a very hidden location. Even if the village was eradicated, this secret room would still remain. Back then, the Guyu clan's creator, the first-generation clan leader, found a primeval essence spring inside this underground cave, thus deciding to build his village here. Through the generations of development and growth by the clan leaders, Guyu clan's underground cave had become the Guyu clan's secret base. Normally, ordinary Goo masters did not have the rights to appear at this location. Only clan elders, the clan leader, and the Dark Hall's Goo masters in charge of protecting the place had such authority. Many Goo masters had only been there once in their lives. That is during the awakening ceremony, where the youngsters would come to the primeval spring sea, hoping to awaken their aperture. Other than this, unless there is a special reason, entry to this underground cave is prohibited for all people. Even the Goo master guarding the place is picked after careful consideration. After all, the primeval spring in this underground cave is the entire foundation of the Guyu village. From the spring center, large amounts of primeval stones are produced, and that sustains the Goo master cultivation of the entire clan. In the tunnel, 2 sets of footsteps could be heard. Far away, the sound of river water flowing sounded. That is the underground river in the cave. A moment later, the Goo master leading the way brought Fang Yuan to a rock door. He patted his belly, and a goo worm flew out of his aperture. As sparks flied, it knocked onto the rock door. The rock door's surface rippled, like a rock thrown into the water. Soon after, the rock wall blinked and gradually faded away, showing the secret room behind. The secret room size was rather small, being only 666 and 2/3 square meters. Every few steps, there would be a rock table half the height of a person. Tens of rock tables had a white jade plate on them, and on the plate there was a goo worm silently resting. These goo worms had all sorts of colors, being around the size of a fist. They had very similar appearances, like silkworms. On its head, there were 2 compound eyes like bees or dragonflies. It was colorful and looked like shiny glass. However, the surface was not soft, but covered in a layer of insect shell, and the shell even had golden luster. Lord Fang Yuan, this is your first time to the secret room, so let me explain. These are rank 2 digital shade goo. All have recipes recorded in them. In the green digital shade goo worms, almost all the rank 1 recipes can be found in them. As for the red-black colored goo, there are rank 2 recipes. White contains the rank 3 recipes, and orange has the rank 4 recipes. As for rank 5, it is contained in the most central purple digital shade goo worms. Beside him, the old goo master introduced appropriately. Digital shade goo was a recording type of goo worm, just 1 step further in advancement, and it would be the rank 3 photoaudio goo. After the photoaudio goo is refined, it not only can store a recording, but can also record the voices as well. In the rock crack secret cave, the flower wine monk used a photoaudio goo to inform Fang Yuan of the inheritance details, but to record down recipes, voices are not necessary. Thus the digital shade goo is enough. Fusion recipes. These were very precious. Using normal bamboo paper to record them, if they were stolen, not only can they refine the Guyu clan's specialty goo worms, it is also a huge leak of the clan's information. Knowing the enemy leads to easier battles, and experienced goo masters can learn about the strengths and weaknesses of a goo worm from the refinement recipe. Once it is leaked, towards a clan the loss would be severe. In future when they battle, the goo masters from that clan may also be disadvantaged in goo worms. Thus, recipes were strictly controlled, and as classified by ranks, stored appropriately. Digital shade goo was easier to refine and had a low cost. Thus it was a common method to contain recipes. Lord Fang Yuan, These digital shade goo all belong to the secret Hall clan elder, but it would not impede you from using primeval essence and browsing through. Just that with your current identity, you cannot browse the rank 4 and 5 recipes. There's also 2 more things. The secret room is the clan's red zone. Your every action here is observed fully in secret. Every day, you can only stay here for 15 minutes. Once the time is up, you must leave. The Goo Master continued speaking. I understand. Fang Yuan nodded. Lord Fang Yuan, this subordinate has no authority to enter. Thus, I will wait at the door. Once the time is up, I will bring you out. The old man bowed. Fang Yuan walked into the secret room. Once he entered, the rock door turned from virtual to solid, trapping him in the room alone. Walking in the secret room, it was peaceful. The echoes of his footsteps could be heard bouncing off the walls as the surrounding walls had water-like goo in them. Their bodies emitted a light, wavering like water, interchanging between light and shadow, with layers after layers shining indefinitely. Fang Yuan took a red-black colored goo worm and injected his white-silver primeval essence inside. Immediately, 2 beams of light shot out from the digital shade goo's compound eyes that he raised the goo up and pointed the eyes at the white jade plate on the table point. 2 beams of light hit the white jade plate, and after some fluctuations, words started to appear. This was the recipe on how to refine the Moonskar goo. First, it listed the Moonskar goo's strengths, which was the increase in attack distance, twice of the Moonlight goo. The weakness was the subpar attack. Next was the refinement recipe. Moonskar goo is refined from fusing the Moonlight goo and Scar Rock goo. Next is the important points for refining this goo. The crux was, if during the refinement, some jade rock is added in, or done during a night when there is abundant moonlight and exposed to it, there would be a higher chance of success. Lastly, it is the experiences of the goo masters who had attempted to fuse this goo. This had the greatest content, almost up to 10,000 words. Fang Yuan took a look and memorized some things to heart. IT was after all countless people's experiments and tries, and the experience gathered from numerous attempts. Some information even Fang Yuan did not know. After all, Moonlight goo is a unique goo to the Guyu clan. In his previous life, he had never become a clan elder or came here to browse the recipes. Time was limited, so Fang Yuan quickly took a look and placed the digital shade goo back to its spot, then picked up a white-colored goo to observe that in the white digital shade goo, there was the rank 3 fusion recipes. Most of the recipes did not suit Fang Yuan, as they needed goo worms like Moonwhirl or Moonskar goo as the base. Fang Yuan did not look through closely. To save time, he skimmed through. He first used the Moonlight goo to fuse with the Little Light goo to form Moonglow goo. On that basis, there was only 3 refinement recipes worth using. First was the rank 3 Golden Moon, with the same 10 steps of shooting distance, but the attack power is increased once again. Once shot out, the golden-colored crescent moon would nearly be half a man tall, and had a strong, imposing aura. Second was the Frost Moon goo. The Moonblade becomes eerie white and icy, having an element of ice to it. Whoever it hurts will be invaded by the coldness, moving slowly. The third is the Illusory Moon goo. This goo was more unique. It is not used to attack, but once activated, it can allow the goo master to create a shadow clone to attract attacks and confuse the enemy, especially when this Illusory Moon goo, once refined, can be used as the basis for the rank for Moonshadow goo. Moonshadow goo can be implanted into a goo master's aperture and suppress them from using primeval essence. In the information on the Illusory Moon goo, there was only some vaguely explained information about the Moonshadow goo as reference. Moonshadow goo. Isn't that the goo worm used by the 4th-generation clan leader to sneak an attack on the Flower Wine Monk? Fang Yuan, seeing this, frowned deeply. In this world, there are countless goo worms, and even with his 500 years of experience, he only knew less than 0.001% of all the goo worms in this world. He originally had a rough idea of the Moonshadow goo, but now that he knew the goo worm's effect, suspicion rose in his heart. Moonshadow goo had a unique use. It was able to suppress 30% of the primeval essence in a rank 4 goo master's aperture, 15% of a rank 5, and 60% of a rank 3 goo master. That means, with a C-grade talent like Fang Yuan, only having 40–50%, If they were hit by this moonshadow goo, they would be unable to deploy a single ounce of primeval essence, losing all their battle strength, and were as good as crippled. Of course, if it were Fang Yuan, if the moonshadow goo was used on him, it would be throwing a meat bun at the dog. What's gone can never come back. That is because once the moonshadow goo enters his aperture, the spring-autumn cicada will demonstrate its dominance, and under its aura, the moonshadow goo would be instantly refined by him and become his. What puzzled Fang Yuan was not the moonshadow goo's effect, but the flower wine monk. I remember that on the shadow wall, the flower wine monk was bathed in blood, full of injuries. Firstly, his battle with the fourth-generation clan leader and elders only gave him mild injuries. I thought those severe injuries were caused by this moonshadow goo, but to think that this moonshadow goo is only used to suppress primeval essence, crippling the goo master. Then where did the flower wine monk get his severe injuries from? Fang Yuan's thoughts were meticulous, thus becoming more suspicious. Back then, when the flower wine monk lost to the clan elders and escaped, what actually happened? Moonshadow goo was not the cause of his death. So then, what was? At once, the originally clear flower wine monk inheritance became a complete mystery to Fang Yuan again. Lord Fang Yuan, it has been 15 minutes. I believe you have had some gains. No matter what, please come again tomorrow. At this point, the door turned into an astral state again, as the old goo master stood outside and said respectfully, "Okay." Fang Yuan's gaze shone as he put down the digital shadow goo, leaving the secret room. Regardless of whether it is the golden moon, frost moon, or illusory moon, these refinement recipes were not what he wanted. That is because they all consumed large amounts of moon orchid flower petals. Moon orchid flower petals were hard to store, only able to live for a few days. In Fang Yuan's plans, he wanted to leave the Guyu clan and roam the world. If he refined these goo, without any food they would die in half a year. He might as well not refine them. However, there were still rank 3 recipes that he did not manage to see. I'll come again tomorrow, I guess. Such a thought flashed across his mind. Chapter 157, Blood Moon Goo. Second day, secret room. On the shiny white jade plate, there was a recipe, Blood Moon Goo. Using rank 2 moon glow goo and blood essence goo to combine and form the rank 3 goo worm. Once activated, the moonblade glows blood red, with the size of a face. If one gets injured by it, there would be a continuous bleeding effect. That's it. Fang Yuan's gaze swept through the information and memorized this recipe at heart. Then he closed his eyes and recited again, and opened his eyes to check. After several times, he checked that he had completely memorized this recipe in his heart, with no margin of error, compared to the golden moon, frost moon, and illusionary moon goo. The 3 classics. This blood moon goo was much more unorthodox. The former 3's refinement recipes had almost 100,000 words of refinement experience. But this blood moon goo barely had a few thousand. It can be seen that through history, goo masters who chose this blood moon goo were rare. The blood moon goo's attacking capability was average. It only had a 10-meter range, and even the bleeding effect after attacking isn't optimal. GU masters from rank 1 to 5 had limited primeval essence, and could not sustain for a long battle to decide the victor. A bleeding effect, in the real battlefield, was only a small problem. Against a goo master experienced in healing, they could even have the ability to counter this. Furthermore, the blood moon goo had the biggest flaw. Every few days of the month, it would ooze fresh blood out. The blood would flow uncontrollably, and during this period, its attack power would be reduced to a third of the original. But it had the greatest advantage that Fang Yuan liked that it was easy to feed. Much easier than the golden moon, frost moon, and illusionary moon. The food it needed was no longer moon orchid flower petals, but fresh blood. Although the blood required was a lot, it was not limited to one type. In the western desert it might be a problem, but the southern border had all sorts of wild beasts in its forested and mountainous areas. Killing them would allow easy extraction of blood. To the blood moon goo, its food was all over the southern border, everywhere. Next, all I have to do is refine this blood moon goo. Fang Yuan decided in his heart. The refinement steps, as well as things to take note of, were all memorized by him. In his hand, there was already the moon glow goo, but the blood essence goo was slightly harder to get a hold of. The blood essence goo was precious, being able to replenish the blood of a goo master. Those goo masters with it were always energetic, and even if they got injured and lost a lot of blood, they could replenish it easily. Thus, their survivability in battle was much higher than others. Xiongjiang once desired a blood essence goo badly. If the blood essence goo was paired up with the roaming zombie goo, it would greatly reduce the side effects. It would allow him to be a zombie for a longer period without any worries for backlashes. He was already a well-to-do rank 2 goo master and had a rather high position, but until he died, he did not get his wish fulfilled. In the secret room, Fang Yuan looked at the digital shade goo on the rock tables again. There was still ample time today. Out of the 15 minutes, he only used 5 minutes, so there was still 10 minutes left. The yellow digital shade goo recorded the rank for recipes. The purple digital shade goo recorded rank 5 recipes. The owner of these digital shade goo had always been the generations of each secret hall clan elder. But the one responsible for feeding them is the clan. Goo worms can be borrowed, as long as the will on the goo worms concedes to it. The will in the digital shade goo is one with the secret hall clan elder. Fang Yuan, as a newly advanced clan elder, is recognized by the secret hall clan elder, thus, he can freely use a portion of the digital shade goo. But the secret hall clan elder does not think Fang Yuan has the authority to browse the rank 4 and 5 recipes. Thus the yellow and purple digital shade goo. Even if he used primeval essence, there would not be any reaction. The truth is, even if it's a wild natural goo worm, it is possible to gain their recognition as well. Those beast kings are like this, thus able to borrow the goo worm's ability. Among humans, such situations occur as well, like the story of the rank 5 river-swallowing toad and Jiang Fan. Of course, Fang Yuan could rely on the spring-autumn cicada's aura to refine these goo worms and obtain the recipes. That was definitely possible, but the consequences of doing that is something Fang Yuan cannot handle yet. The benefits involved is not sufficient for him to act either. Actually, the most precious recipe is not these rank 4 or 5 recipes, but how to reverse engineer a moonlight goo. This goo originated from the first-generation clan leader, and on that basis, after hundreds of years, developed into such a scale and structure. Fang Yuan thought a GU fusion is to turn low-ranking goo worms into higher-ranking ones, while reverse fusion is to turn the high-ranking goo worms back to their lower forms. Between rising and falling, because of different processes, what is obtained can be entirely different goo worms. The moonlight goo is not a natural goo worm, but something gotten from reverse fusion by the first-generation clan leader. The goo worms in this world were mostly new species created by many goo masters on the basis of natural goo worms. Thus, even with Fang Yuan's 500 years of experience, he still had limited knowledge of the entire goo worm ecology. And for the clan, they would definitely have one or a few unique goo worms. These goo worms were not the rare natural species, but a new species created through reverse fusion. On this basis, goo masters can develop a strength unique to their clan. Jiu clan's moonlight goo, Xiong clan's bear strength goo, Bai clan's stream goo. These were all the same that if they used a common and well-known goo worm, they would be easy to deal with and easily targeted. A clan's foundation lies in the primeval spring, as it can produce primeval stones. Next is a unique goo worm that can prevent one's strength from being completely deciphered. Lastly, it is bloodline. Bloodline and kinship are an important chain that ties a clan together. Thus, don't look down on the rank 1 moonlight goo. The worth of its reverse fusion recipe is far greater than rank 4 or 5 recipes. The recipe to reverse fuse the moonlight goo is normally kept by the clan leader. Other than the clan leader, the most loyal clan elder of that generation would also know the recipe's secret. At the same time, the moonlight goo recipe's digital shade goo is also hidden appropriately. Fang Yuan could obviously not obtain the recipe from this secret room. This recipe's value is very high. Thus, if I can obtain it before I leave, that would naturally be the best. But I do not have to force it. Fang Yuan was very plain about this matter. For starters, he was not planning to create an organization or force. The moonlight goo's recipe to him was not a necessity. However, the blood moon goo and the other rank 3 recipes are what I need. Although Fang Yuan was rank 3 now and had white-silver primeval essence, not all his goo worms were rank 3, thus he could not display the true fighting power of a rank 3 goo master. I have the Thunderwings goo and Sky Canopy goo, so if I manage to refine the Blood Moon goo, I will have 3 rank 3 goo worms. But that is nowhere near enough. Ordinary goo masters can rely on the clan. With the cooperation of their clansmen, as well as ample resources, they only needed 3 to 4 goo worms. But Fang Yuan wanted to roam the southern border and leave his homeland. Thus he needed at least 6 goo worms to deal with all situations. With his experience, the 6 goo worms had to be attack, defense, healing, storage, recon, and movement. 6 attributes to provide him ample support. For attack, the Blood Moon goo barely qualifies. For defense, he has the Sky Canopy goo. Movement-wise, even though the Thunderwings goo uses a lot of primeval essence, it can allow temporary flight and is very powerful. For healing, the 9-leaf Vitality Grass is slightly weak. It is, after all, a rank 2 goo, and even the advancement option is not satisfactory to Fang Yuan. The rank 2 9-leaf Vitality Grass did not have outstanding healing abilities. Its only advantage was creating the rank 1 Vitality Leaves, and from selling that, Fang Yuan can get a continuous supply of primeval stones, akin to a money tree. But thereafter, Fang Yuan is going to travel to places where there are no inhabitants. So even if he creates the Vitality Leaves, no goo masters would buy them using primeval stones. For recon, Earth Communication Eargrass had a huge range, so even as a rank 2, it was still usable. For storage, Fang Yuan had no such goo. This was, however, the goo of the utmost importance. This is because after he starts traveling alone, the supplies are the most important. It can single-handedly become the basis of the other 5 categories: storing food to feed the goo worms, his own food, and storing primeval stones. Without primeval stones, goo master lose the power to cultivate. On this matter, Fang Yuan had no progress. Before he obtains a satisfactory storage-type goo worm, he will not leave the village. Goo worms for storage. The first condition is a wide utility, able to store food and primeval stones. Next, they have to be easy to feed. And lastly, it is best if they have the ability to prolong the expiry date of the items stored. But even in the resource board of the 3 clans, there is no goo worm that I like. It seems I can only make use of the Chi faction and squeeze out the last of their savings. Once 15 minutes was up, Fang Yuan walked out of the tunnel as he continued to ponder. Lord Fang Yuan, hello. A middle-aged goo master stood outside, specifically waiting for Fang Yuan. You are? The person smiled. I am Gu Yu Chi Zhong, the current acting Medicine Hall clan elder. So that's him. Fang Yuan realized, starting a close inspection of this person, that Gu Yu Chi Zhong had a proper appearance with a squarish face, and he showed an aura of stability. Similar to Fang Yuan, he was also a clan elder, but his cultivation was rank 3 middle stage. After Fang Yuan caused Gu Yu Yao Ji to faint, Gu Yu Chi Zhong had been ordered to temporarily lead the medicine hall, and his wife was an important member of the medicine faction. Thus this was Gu Yu Bo's political approach to balance the 2 factions' rivalry. But no matter what, Gu Yu Chi Zhong still managed to ascend to this role. This is 300 primeval stones, the payout to the clan elders for this week. I know that you are here, thus I brought this over as well. I hope you do not mind me taking matters into my own hands, Gu Yu Chi Zhong said, handing a money bag to Fang Yuan. This man. Fang Yuan squinted, taking the bag. The clan elder's payout needed to be collected by the clan elder themselves. But Gu Yu Chi Zhong could collect it for him. So in some ways, this was hinting to Fang Yuan his status in the clan as well as his social network. But this hint was also well-timed, as it showed a sign of goodwill and was not aggressive. To speak the truth, I took the initiative to find Lord Fang Yuan this time, because I have a matter to ask of you. Soon after, he went straight to the topic and mentioned his intention. Oh, you want me to turn in the 9-leaf Vitality Grass? Fang Yuan showed a deep, profound expression. Chapter 158. Times have changed. Gu Yaoji had longed after Fang Yuan's 9-leaf Vitality Grass, and thus, she exploited her authority to set a policy for the transfer of 9-leaf Vitality Grass. However, Fang Yuan advanced to rank 3 and became an elder, responding with a powerful counterattack which caused Gu Yaoji to faint on the spot and let Gu Chi Zhong take the stage. A new officer in power has to display his authority. Gu Chi Zhong took the initiative to find Fang Yuan and persuade him to hand over the 9-leaf Vitality Grass. Handing over the 9-leaf Vitality Grass, It's not that it cannot be done, Fang Yuan said after muttering to himself for a bit. There was a saying, what was true then isn't true now. And now, the situation was different from before. Previously, Guyu Yaoji wanted Feng Yuan to hand over the 9-leaf vitality grass. That was an order, you had to hand it over whether you wanted to or not. However, Feng Yuan was already an elder now, and his status was equal to Guyu Yaoji and others, and only lower than clan leader Guyu Bo. Thus, Guyu Qizhong asking Feng Yuan to hand over the 9-leaf vitality grass was not an order, but instead it was a type of transaction with equal benefits. 9-leaf vitality grass was indeed very precious. With its ability to produce vitality leaves, it was by itself a microscale source of revenue and was in high demand. Feng Yuan was now raising many goo worms, and a large part of their food expenses was supported solely by it. However, this world didn't have anything that couldn't be sold. It was only a matter of the profits being too small to move the heart. 9-leaf vitality grass was precious, but if an appropriate price was provided, why couldn't it be sold? Goo worms were only tools, methods to achieve one's desires and ambitions. So what if it was the spring-autumn cicada? As long as the circumstances were suitable, why couldn't one give it up to exchange for an even larger benefit? If one wants to obtain benefits, they need to learn to give up first, naturally. Feng Yuan had the awareness of this and looked at Guyu Qizhong. Guyu Qizhong understood and smiled. If sire is willing to hand over the 9-leaf vitality grass, I will willingly compensate you with this command token. Saying so, he took out a token. This token's design was simple. It was triangular shaped with smooth corners. There were words written on the front, piling up in a pyramid shape. Prize token. Similarly on the back said, reward contributions. Prize token, reward contributions. Sire is a newly promoted elder and may not be clear on some matters. This prize token is issued to the Goo Masters who have made great contributions to the clan. Even among elders, few possess it. With this token, you can go down to the clan's underground Goo Cave and choose any Goo worm you like. The underground cave holds many rare, precious Goo worms. Among the top 10 Goo worms in the exchange board, 4 of them have been selected from the underground Goo Cave, Guyu Qizhong explained. Feng Yuan was instantly moved. He wasn't surprised about this. For Guyu clan had stood high for centuries, and it was impossible for there not to be any trump cards and accumulations. In fact, any long-established clan would also have secret places to store goo like the Goo underground cave. But to obtain such Goo worms, one needed to have made great contributions and also should be loyal to the clan. Feng Yuan only recently became an elder, so he was very far away from having such qualifications. I want to leave the clan, so I need a storage goo. This token is a good choice, but Feng Yuan had some worries. If he had to give up the 9-leaf vitality grass, so be it. It was a great help to Feng Yuan, but he wouldn't have any use for it in the future. Its healing ability was not outstanding, and one couldn't continuously use the vitality leaves to heal. Feng Yuan's worry was that there might not necessarily be his ideal Goo worm in the Goo underground cave. Guyu Qizhong had been observing Feng Yuan's expression, and he misunderstood the latter's hesitation, saying, the underground cave holds not only rank 3 Goo worms but also rank 4. Elder Feng Yuan, you won't be at a disadvantage. But if somehow you regret it, we could re-exchange them. That can be done after some time, secretly. Feng Yuan raised his eyes, unable to refrain from looking at Qizhong again. This is an outstanding guy, he sighed inwardly. A new officer in power has to display his authority. Qizhong clearly understood why he was promoted. He had to strike a balance with not only the clan leader but also Qi and medicine faction. And at the same time, he needed to display his ability. Feng Yuan transferring the 9-leaf vitality grass over held a special significance to him, and he was willing to pay a high price for it. The world is vast, countless outstanding talents are everywhere. Under the wolf tide, the old-timers are being sacrificed and newcomers are advancing. From a certain point, this can also be said to be a reform which allows the clan to preserve its vitality and stand high without falling, Feng Yuan thought inwardly. Too many old-timers will only create a rotting organization. Thus the process of elimination is the only way for an organization to continue working. Guyu Qizhong was a representative of this. The world was all about the survival of the fittest. A human body continues to live through the process of metabolism. A Goo master shouldn't stick with the same Goo worms. Only with change could they progress. At this thought, Feng Yuan accepted the token from Guyu Qizhong and then handed over the 9-leaf vitality grass. As he had transferred it himself, Qizhong could quickly refine the 9-leaf vitality grass. Only after keeping this grass goo into his aperture did he let out a big sigh of relief. He had his own ambitions, and being able to act as the temporary medicine hall elder was an extremely important opportunity to him. If he could grasp this, he might even assume the official post instead of temporary. However, he would have to make compromises with the three sides if he wanted to achieve this. After all, politics was an art of compromising. Yao Ji couldn't do anything to Fang Yuan while she was reigning. But after taking the seat, he was able to get Fang Yuan to hand over his 9-leaf vitality grass. This not only showed goodwill to the medicine faction, being able to handle the political matters left behind by Yao Ji and subtly display his own ability. Thus, he didn't hesitate to give up the prize token which he had got with great difficulty. Lord Qizhong, it's really delightful to chat with you. I wonder if you still have some time now. Fang Yuan asked as he stored the token. Gu Qizhong's eyes flashed. He was puzzled. After a while. In a hall, we pay respects to the two elders. Fang Yuan's uncle and aunt bowed and greeted. They were very respectful and even a little afraid. After the news of Fang Yuan becoming an elder was announced, he became a model example for young Gu masters. Whereas it brought astonishment and panic to the uncle and aunt pair. He was clearly a C-grade talent. How could he advance to rank 3 and become an elder so fast? Even Guyu Fangzheng, who was an A-grade talent, was only at rank 2 upper stage currently. After the astonishment was fear. They couldn't help but be afraid. When they thought of how they had bullied and been so hard on Fang Yuan, their hearts trembled with fear. What goes around comes back around. It was not the same once he had an elder's identity. They were afraid of Fang Yuan taking revenge on them after achieving success. But still, in the end, Fang Yuan came to their door and also brought another elder with him. They came with bad intentions. Gyudong too sighed in his heart. Fang Yuan chuckled. Uncle, aunt, no need to be so courteous. Although I have become an elder, I am still your nephew. Come, let's all take a seat. Saying so, he sat down on the main seat. Gu Qizhong sat beside him. These two positions were usually where uncle and aunt sat, the seats of the family heads. Uncle and aunt, however, weren't the least bit discontent with the seatings. They were even full of hesitation and fearful when sitting in the lower seats. This was the power of the clan elders. Uncle and aunt glanced at each other. They were on tenterhooks as they sat stiffly, only sitting near the edge of the chairs. The servants came in with some tea. Gu Qizhong maintained his silence and didn't drink. Fang Yuan, however, took a sip calmly and asked, "How has uncle and aunt been these days?" Fang Yuan was smiling as he asked, but in uncle and aunt's eyes it felt even more terrifying than him flying into a rage. It was especially so for aunt. When she thought of how she had insulted Fang Yuan, she started trembling with fear. Sigh. Life had been in upheaval due to the wolf tide. The tavern was forced to close down, and the rent of the bamboo houses has been decreasing. In fact, we are so poor that we're reaching the point of starvation, uncle said, and then tears fell down from his eyes unexpectedly. He used to maintain his health very well before, but now his face was no longer ruddy. While the hair near his temples had gone white and the wrinkles on his face had increased. His predicament was even more obvious due to the forceful enlistment. However, Fang Yuan knew his uncle had managed the tavern for many years, so he definitely had some savings. The miserable appearance he was putting on now was because he was afraid of Fang Yuan's revenge and wanted to use his pathetic look to gain Fang Yuan's sympathy. Uncle is usually so astute. But how could he be so stupid when the matter involves himself? If I had come to take revenge, why would I bring Gu Qizhong with me? Fang Yuan sneered in his mind. He greatly disliked and had no respect towards his uncle and aunt, but this didn't mean they had no use. Uncle, aunt, you have taken good care of me for so long. All my current accomplishments are due to your nurturing. I have just received the elder payout from the clan. These 300 primeval stones, please take them. Saying so, Fang Yuan handed the money bag to uncle. What? This? Gyudong Tu's expression was really wonderful at this moment. His astonishment contained unease. The unease was close to fear, and under the fear was incredulousness. And who was at the side was also dumbstruck as she blankly looked at the money bag in Fang Yuan's hand. What in the world was going on? There was none of the revenge they had imagined, but instead, they were being gifted 300 primeval stones. Fang Yuan's words were ear-piercing, no matter how they looked at it. The words, taking good care, and nurturing were full of sarcasm, which made them feel the whole situation was even more bizarre. What is he scheming? What the heck does he want to do? How does he want to torment us? Uncle and aunt glanced at each other. Both were hesitating and didn't dare to receive the money bag. It is Elder Fang Yuan's filial piety. Do accept it. Gu Qizhong expressionlessly spoke from his seat. Yes, yes, yes. Uncle repeatedly nodded his head and hurriedly accepted the money bag. Even if he was called the hidden elder, that was nothing in front of the medicine hall elder. He used both hands to hold the bag full of 300 primeval stones. He normally loved money, but right now, he felt like the money bag was scalding hot and wanted to immediately throw it. Since Uncle has received it, I will take my leave, Fang Yuan said and started leaving. Uncle and Anne immediately tried to see them off, but were stopped by Fang Yuan. Don't look anymore. At the corner, Mother Shen let out a breath of relief and said to her daughter Shen Chui. Shen Chui's expression was gloomy, and she looked at Fang Yuan and Qi Zhong's figures from behind, until they were completely gone. Mother, did I make a wrong choice? She said. An elder could take in a wife and 2 concubines. If she had been faithful from the start, who is to say that she couldn't be Fang Yuan's concubine at this moment? I really hadn't expected this. This Fang Yuan advanced to today's stage with only a C-grade aptitude. Mother Shen helplessly shook her head. Daughter, cheer up. Fang Zheng has an A-grade aptitude. His accomplishments won't be any less. Yes, Shen Chui responded, and some luster emerged within her dark pupils. In this world, the status of a common mortal was so petty and low. How many things did she have that could move the great Gu Master's hearts? She had already given her body to Fang Zheng. That was the gamble of her life, and she couldn't turn back anymore. Chapter 159. This Fang Yuan. Howl. 4 frenzy lightning wolves raised their heads and howled loudly. Pit-pat, pit-pat. The rain poured from above as the curtains of water interweaved, and dark clouds roamed the sky. It caused the weather to turn dark, obstructing the vision of many. Quick! The northern gate has a breach. Quickly go there, Shengnan group. Healing Gu Master? We have a heavily injured person here. Kill, kill, kill. Kill all these bastard wolves. The wolves' cries were countered by the Gu Masters shouting. Almost everyone was bathed in blood as they battled ferociously. Surrounding the village, battles ensued, spreading like wildfire. The people's cheers, the wolves' cries, the sound of the rain, mixed in with the sound of the wind. Uncountable number of lightning wolves rushed towards the village walls. The pitfall trap before the walls had already been flattened by a thick layer of wolf corpses, and as they were led by the numerous bold lightning wolves, the lightning wolves had a strong charging force together. Rank 1 and Rank 2 Gu Masters fought bravely on the front lines. Large amounts of moonblades flew towards the wolf packs, slaughtering numerous lightning wolves. But the wolf packs still sent out lightning currents and lightning balls towards the village, bringing injuries and fatalities to the clan. Elder Fang Yuan. This is the medicine hall's newest injury report. Please take a look. A Gu Master in charge of transmitting information quickly arrived, and after seeing Fang Yuan, greeted him and handed over the report with both hands. Fang Yuan was now a Rank 3 Gu Master. Thus, as a clan elder, his mission by the clan was to lead the Gu Masters in suppressing the western area. Fang Yuan removed his attention from the battlefield and took the report, saying to the Gu Master, "You may leave." The Gu Master paid his respects before taking his leave. His speed was fast, and by using Gu Worm to accelerate his body, he quickly left to the next area. Any Gu Master in charge of information dissemination had at least one movement assist type Gu Worm, while some even had 2. Fang Yuan opened the report, taking a glance. The injury toll on the report gave a feeling of considerable shock. Until now, the wolf tide had attacked the village over 10 times. The injury and death of the clan's Gu Masters was very severe. This led the clan elders to be so frantic, and the Gu Master that took over the medicine hall, Gu Qizhong, felt even greater pressure. As a middle-aged man, he even had several white hair growing out some days ago, but Fang Yuan had his previous life's memories and was mentally prepared, thus he was not surprised. This wolf tide is one of the most severe ones in the Guyu clan's history. Such injuries and death is unavoidable. He thought this in his heart, and as moonlight gathered in his palm, he reduced this report to ashes. This report, only clan elders had the authority to view it. If it was released to the masses, it would cause social instability. Despite this, the Guyu clan was already in a panicky state. As the feelings of instability got stronger by the day at this point, the moonlight in Fang Yuan's palm was no longer the eerie blue color, but of blood color. This is the rank 3 blood moon gu. To refine this gu, Fang Yuan had failed once, and only on his second attempt did he succeed. As for the refinement ingredients, he naturally extorted Gu Yu Qi Lian for it. Fang Yuan closed his eyes, his mind entering into his apertured eye. In the aperture walls were shining and dimming at regular intervals without a single drop of impurity. It was a pure white state. His primeval essence was fully white in color, but also emitted a luster of a silver metallic glow. This is the rank 3 Gu Master's white-silver primeval essence. Water gathers into a sea. In his aperture it was a white-silver primeval sea. On the surface, there was originally a black-red residue, but now it was no longer there. The cleansing water gu he forced out of Gu Yu Qi Lian had long been used. The man-beast life burial gu's side effect was completely eliminated, but this was not without a price. Fang Yuan's aptitude lowered a little from 44% C grade. Due to the man-beast life burial gu, it dropped by 2% to a maximum capacity of 42%. But this price, Fang Yuan was prepared for it. In fact, it was all thanks to Gu Yu Qi Lian. If not for the cleansing water gu and letting that black-red residue corrupt the primeval essence any longer, Fang Yuan's aptitude would decrease even further. A white shell, black-spotted ladybug danced in the air above the sea. This was the sky canopy gu. The stealth scales gu with a stonefish appearance was deep inside the primeval C.4 flavors. Liquor worm was playing with the waves above the sea surface. As for the newly refined blood moon gu, its appearance was similar to the moonlight gu, residing in Fang Yuan's right palm, turning into a red crescent insignia. As for the rank 3 Thunderwings gu, it resided in Fang Yuan's back as 2 lightning bolt tattoos. To be worth mentioning is the spring-autumn cicada. Its condition was getting better and was recovering quicker. This situation caused Fang Yuan to rejoice and at the same time worry. Spring-autumn cicada is rank 6, but he is still rank 3, and at this time his aperture is unable to hold a fully recovered spring-autumn cicada. The spring-autumn cicada's aura was getting stronger. Like using a paper tube to contain rocks, the aperture would not be able to handle the load. If I'm left with no choice, I can only raise it outside of my body. Fang Yuan sighed. That had great implications. Rank 6 gu worms are implicated with Tao, containing the law fragments of heaven and earth. If left outside for extended periods, it would create a resonance with the natural laws, unless the gu worm is slumbering. Otherwise, the commotion would be huge, as it would cause all sorts of natural phenomena, attracting the attention and greed of other experts. But this was a solution out of necessity. How? At this point, a loud, shrill wolf howl suddenly entered everyone's ears. Fang Yuan gathered his spirits. Lord Clan Elder, the frenzy lightning wolf, has entered the battle. Gu Yu Jian and 2 others elders are at the eastern gate blocking them. They hope you can go and assist. A gu master frantically reported. Crack. The sound of lightning cracked as 2 wings sprouted from Fang Yuan's back. These 2 wings were formed by blue lightning, the form abstract and simple. But with a flap, it brought Fang Yuan high into the sky, and with a fast speed, he sped towards the eastern gate. Flying in a straight line in the air, Fang Yuan got to the battlefield in a few breaths' time. The frenzy lightning wolf was trying to break through the eastern gate, and a few clan elders were near the door aggressively engaging in battle. The frenzy lightning wolf jumped abruptly out of the battlefield, and with a swing of its tail, swept at a female rank 1 gu master at the corner. This gu master's face went pale. She could only hear the sound of the winds blowing as the wolf tail swept at her, and in her heart she screamed, "I'm doomed." With her ability, she could neither dodge nor take the hit. But at this crucial moment, a shadow descended from the sky, hugging her. The young girl felt the world spinning before her. When she finally recovered, all she saw was that she was flying in midair, while the wolf tail swept right below her. A 2-story bamboo building took the hit and was shaking violently. Her expression got dimmer. If she was hit right on by this tail, she would have turned into meat pulp. Soon after, she realized that she was saved. Who saved her? She stared at this person and was stunned. It's him. Gu Yu Fang Yuan. At once, the young girl's heart was filled with complexity. It was impossible to describe with words. She and Fang Yuan were classmates. Fang Yuan had formerly extorted her primeval stones. Thus she hated him greatly. but she had to be amazed at his achievements, especially after news of him advancing to clan elder spread, causing her to be in shock and admiration. Compared to Fang Yuan, she was also a C-grade talent, but was now only a rank 1. Now, she was saved by Fang Yuan once he was a true lifesaver. She was filled with gratitude towards Fang Yuan, and under her shock and admiration, her lingering hatred was also gone with. The battlefield here is dangerous, retreat far away. Fang Yuan's wings flapped, landing on the ground and placing her down gently. He had some impression towards this young girl. They were possibly classmates, but he could not remember her name. Saying so, he turned around and left, no longer flying. Instead, he sprinted, entering the battlefield. The Thunderwing's goose speed was fast, but its primeval expenditure was faster. Fang Yuan being only C-grade talent, among the rank 3 Gu masters in terms of purely primeval essence storage. He is the lowest tier possible, thus he needed to conserve his primeval essence more than others. Blood Moon Gu. He threw a moonblade out. The moonblade was blood red in color, and upon hitting the frenzy lightning wolf's body, it caused an injury that bled continuously. The young girl's sight remained on Fang Yuan, staring at his shadow blankly. Slowly, her eyes started to shine in a mysterious manner. 17 to 18 years of age. This is the prime of youth. This Fang Yuan. What do you think of him? Far away, Guyubo looked at this scene and asked a close aide. The aide replied, I heard that Elder Fang Yuan had already answered the call of the medicine hall and handed in the 9-leaf vitality grass in his possession. After getting the first payout, he gave it all to his uncle and aunt as a filial gesture. These days, he had struck personally and participated in killing lightning wolves. His aggressive and ruthless attacks have gained him much battle merits. Not only that, after saving many clansmen this time, his reputation is improving. The clan already has rumors, him turning over a new leaf, the Fang faction's new clan elder, etc. This subordinate thinks that, although he is only a C-grade talent, with his impressive battle capabilities, he had gotten great opportunities. First, with his parents' inheritance, the 9-leaf vitality grass became a continuous source of income. Using 2 red steel relic goo, he managed to cultivate to rank 3, but also had an element of luck. Saying so, this close aide showed an expression of slight jealousy. He was also a C-grade talent, but was only rank 2. Getting to this stage, he spent half his life doing so. But that Fang Yuan was merely 17 years old, yet he was already a clan elder. Competing with others is really infuriating. Hearing his aide's words, Guyubo nodded unnoticeably. His close aide's words represented the view of majority of the people in the clan, but was slightly shallowed at Guyubo had been the clan leader for many years, thus he had greater foresight. Fang Yuan handing in the 9-leaf vitality grass, he had obviously struck a deal with Guyu Qizhong. Handing his payout to his aunt and uncle was not out of goodwill, but a political show. The person who spread news on this matter was Guyu Qizhong.as for saving people. Whether it's true and sincere, there remains doubt. But no matter what, Fang Yuan no longer isolated himself, and his actions were indeed worthy of praise. Him advancing to clan elder and his actions thereafter. This was an initiative to get close to the clan and contribute to the clan. The clan's prosperity requires these contributions and relationships. Thinking so, Guyubo instructed those people in the hidden hall. These few days they also did not find anything from their investigations. Forget it. Withdraw the investigations on Fang Yuan for now. Yes, this subordinate shall inform them now. Saying so, he took his leave. That Guyubo stood on the ground. Squinting, he thought in his heart. No matter what's the reason, his cultivation still rose too quickly. This Fang Yuan, he has a great secret on him. However, in this period, with the severity of the wolf tide, every bit of strength is needed, and wasting it on Fang Yuan is too wasteful. Investigation is still necessary, but this can only wait after the wolf tide. Chapter 160. Astounding applause. With a bam, the frenzy lightning wolf fell on the ground like a giant elephant. It opened its mouth wide, but its eyes lost focus as life slowly exited its body. On its body, there were injuries all over. As wolf blood poured out endlessly, the environment was dyed red. The rain continued to pour as it diluted the wolf blood and caused the blood to spread further into the ground. The ground was muddy, and some elders were standing beside the frenzy lightning wolf corpse, taking deep breaths as their bodies were drenched by the rain. They were also covered in wolf blood and mud, looking like beggars. Finally killed it. This frenzy lightning wolf actually had a defensive goo worm in its body and was so difficult to take down. Luckily, we had Elder Fang Yuan's blood moon goo accumulating injuries on it, or else it would have been even more difficult trying to kill it. When the elders said this, they looked towards Fang Yuan. Initially, when they heard that Fang Yuan had refined the blood moon goo, they felt disapproving towards it. But it seems now that it was very effective in dealing with frenzy lightning wolves. I am flattered, fellow esteemed elders. If not for your assistance and protection, I would not have been able to attack so relentlessly. Fang Yuan wiped the rainwater off his face as he said politely, No, it is our duty. We are old people already. We didn't feel it before, but after fighting together with Elder Fang Yuan, we feel that we have truly aged. Indeed. The several elders laughed together. In this earlier battle, Fang Yuan had a strong grasp of when to attack and retreat. With his ruthless and savage attacks, many times his methods were even more effective than normal elders, causing the clan elders to see him in a different light, especially with his polite and humble attitude and no sense of arrogance. He is definitely not what the rumors said, that aloof and unruly person, thus the elders had a good impression of him. I still have many aspects that need to be learned from all of you, Fang Yuan said respectfully, but his eyes shone with a dark light. The blood moon goo had pros and cons after using it for so many times. He had some insights about it. The blood moon goo specialized in prolonged battles, causing unhealable injuries. As time passed, the enemy's injuries would get more and more severe, but this is established on the fact that there is no healing type goo worm. Nature is balanced. There is no strongest goo worm. Each goo is bound to have strengths and weaknesses. Blood moon goo's greatest drawback is the few days of the month where it oozes blood and faces a rapid drop in battle strength. It is my main attacking method, so this makes it too unstable. But after I get the chainsaw golden centipede in the flower wine inheritance ground, I can cover this weakness. These few days were a high alert period where the wolf tide continued to attack the village, so as a clan elder, Fang Yuan attracted even more attention than before and had no chance to go to that rock-cracked secret cave. Quick, save our clansmen. Sweep the battlefield. Don't miss a single goo worm. Seeing the frenzy lightning wolf fall, a group of healing goo masters immediately came forth. Esteemed elders, you all have exerted yourselves. Please accept special treatment from our medicine hall. The leading goo master bowed towards Fang Yuan and the elders. Oh, medicine factions Li Qin. The few clan elders recognized this person, nodding and changing their expression. They were courteous to Fang Yuan, putting on a face full of smiles. But towards this person, they kept their emotions and displayed the authority of a higher-up. This is the difference in status. This Guyu Li Qin is only a rank 2 goo master. I have no injuries. I do not require treatment. Elders, let's talk again when we are free. Fang Yuan nodded to the elders. Elder Fang Yuan is so outstanding. He's not even injured from such a battle. What a true young hero. Sigh, compared to Elder Fang Yuan, we are really old. Hee, take care of yourself, Elder Fang Yuan. The few elders started to laugh as they said, Elder Fang Yuan, please pardon my rudeness, but do allow our medicine hall healing goo master to do a checkup for you. Guyu Li Qin insisted. He was a member of the medicine faction. And after Fang Yuan angered Guyu Yaoji to the point of fainting, causing her downfall, he naturally had hatred towards Fang Yuan. But with his position and job, as the leader, he cannot ignore Fang Yuan. Thanks for your goodwill, but it's fine. I'll see everyone again. Fang Yuan patted Guyu Li Qin's shoulder, leaving with a smile. The elders smiled or nodded to reply him. Only after he left did their expression change rapidly, turning solemn. This Fang Yuan, although only C grade, had grown to this point. It is truly hard to come by. Fighting together with him, they could feel his heartlessness and ruthlessness, but when thinking about it, they felt threatened. When they were 17, did they have such achievements, especially when they saw him smile as he patted the medicine faction member's shoulder, such talent in politics and scheming? It is truly stunning. Lord Fang Yuan, do you recognize me? Along the road, a person showed a respectful expression as he greeted Fang Yuan. You are. Fang Yuan squinted, recognizing this person as his classmate. Only that he could not remember the name, but when he extorted primeval stones from him, this person always handed them up nicely. It shows his brilliance under that meek personality. Lord Fang Yuan, I am Guyu Ding Zong. To have the fortune to be your classmate, that is my honor. Actually, After news that you had advanced to a clan elder spread, many of our classmates admired and were envious of you, Lord, wanting to find an opportunity to discuss cultivation experiences with you. Are you free tonight, Lord? Gu Dingzong rubbed his hands, his eyes smiling into a line. Oh, is that so? Fang Yuan's eyebrows raised, nodding. Okay, but let me change my clothes first. This drenched attire is making me uncomfortable. I have already prepared warm water and new clothes, and several beautiful attendants are waiting for serve you, Lord. Gu Dingzong smiled, his expression very eager. Fang Yuan shook his head to reject. No, before that, I have to go to the underground tunnel. Ah, I see. Gu Dingzong's expression changed. The underground tunnel was only accessible to the clan elders, and to people like them, it was a forbidden ground in the clan. Next, his smile became even more subservient, and his back was arched even further, as his tone carried a servant feeling. Lord, go ahead with your business. This lowly one's time is not valuable. Waiting for you is also an honor of mine. Fang Yuan nodded, not speaking anymore, and continued to walk away. Gu Dingzong took a step back quickly, opening a path as he bent his back and sent Fang Yuan off with his gaze, entering the underground cavern again. This secret room that contained precious goo worms was very large, almost as big as the village square. But the goo worms contained inside were not many. There was only a few dozen. Cave declaration grass, air return cicada, dried bone dragonfly, phoenix wing butterfly. There were goo worms varying from rank 2 to 4. It was only that there was very little rank 2 goo, and among them was a love separation goo. This is the number 1 poison goo among the rank 2s. And injuries caused by it cannot be healed even by a rank 3 healing goo. This love separation is the one Wang Er owned back then. After obtaining it, the clan kept it here. The most was rank 3 goo, while rank 4 goo was relatively little. Fang Yuan did not have high hopes. Although the clan had some fortune, it is still a middle-sized clan and has competition with 2 other villages, as well as the pressure of the wolf tide. But to think that, he actually found a desirable goo, tussida flower. This was a rank 3 grass goo shaped like a red lantern, and had round green leaves. The leaves were thick and fat, a total of 3 pointing at 3 directions in symmetry. This tussida flower is the same as the tussida grass. Not only was it able to store food, but it could also store primeval stones and is one of the most ideal goo in Fang Yuan's mind. To think that this goo village had the tussida flower. With it, I can cover the weakness of storage, Fang Yuan rejoiced, choosing it immediately. Actually, in the village there definitely is a rank 5 goo. Gyu clan had 2 rank 5 experts in history. They were bound to leave behind some goo worms. Except they cannot be placed here. These rank 5 goo are the trump cards of the village, fed by the village with all their resources. Though to say feed, it is actually more like offerings. Fang Yuan left the tunnel. The rain had stopped, but the weather was still gloomy. The air was also not fresh, as there was the smell of blood. Fang Yuan changed to a clean shirt and slowly moved towards the gathering point. Elder Fang Yuan, you are here. It is our greatest honor to have you with us. Gu Dingzong stood at the door, staring with wide eyes. From afar he could see Fang Yuan walking across the street, and he quickly smiled and received him. He brought Fang Yuan into the bamboo building. There was already a feast prepared as many people were sitting there. On seeing Fang Yuan, they quickly got up. Soon after, all sorts of praises and flattering rushed like water towards Fang Yuan. Greetings to Lord Fang Yuan. After so long, Elder Fang Yuan's glamour is greater than ever. This lowly one truly admires you. To be Lord Fang Yuan's classmate, it is my luck from 3 lifetimes. Even thinking about it now, it feels like the experience of a dream. Fang Yuan's gaze swept across the table, seeing all his classmates. They were familiar faces, all of them people who he had extorted. My pleasure. He lightly smiled, sitting at the highest position. Serve the dishes, serve the best wine. Gu Dingzong shouted, and the servants quickly got to work. All sorts of dishes were served, their flavors top-notch. This Gu Dingzong's family sure had some assets. To be able to serve such dishes during the wolf tide, it showed that he really paid a big price, showing his sincerity. Elder Fang Yuan, this lowly one toasts you. Elder Fang Yuan, take your time to drink. I'll down this first. Fang Yuan was really very casual. With a cup of wine, he only took a small sip every time, but the people had no complaints towards this. After toasting almost everyone and having drunk a decent amount, he suddenly held his cup and stood up, laughing. The young are foolish. I was immature in the past and did some horrible things. I hope everyone can forgive me and do not mind the past. Once he stood up, no one else dared to continue sitting. and all of them quickly got up. Everyone knew that the matter Fang Yuan was referring to was the primeval stone extortion. They quickly shouted, "Not at all, not at all. Elder Fang Yuan truly has character, a true hero. To have my primeval stones eyed by Elder Fang Yuan, that is our greatest honor." That's right, that's right. Elder Fang Yuan's glamour and heroism has always been engraved in my heart. Fang Yuan drank this cup of wine in one mouthful, as everyone cheered and clapped.